Hello and welcome to Cricket Next. मैं हूं सौम्य कपूर and today I have a very special guest with me joining me here in this segment. Paras Mhambrey, India's former bowling coach, where he talks about his tenure with the Indian team, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammed Shami, Arshdeep, the upcoming bowlers, and much more. Welcome to Cricket Next, Paras sir. कैसे हो आप? It is very I'm delighted to talk to you. So first of all, कैसे हो आप?
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत बढ़िया। थैंक यू वेरी मच मुझे शो पे बुलाने के लिए और मेरे से बातचीत करने के लिए। सो लुक फॉरवर्ड टू दिस।
Thank you, thank you. Sir, starting with your tenure, obviously you have talked about your tenure a number of times with a lot of
या
people. तो मैं आपको वहाँ वो चीज नहीं पूछूंगा, but I would like you to sum up your tenure in one word. कैसा था इंडियन टीम के साथ आपका tenure?
सैटिस्फाइंग, आई वुड से दैट्स ऑल। बिकॉज आई थिंक एज अ कोच आप एक जर्नी चालू करते हो, यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन अ लिटिल जर्नी हियर। देयर सर्टेन गोल्स यू वांट टू अचीव, यू वांट टू, it's all about sometimes when you have a coach, all about what you can add to the team, add to
Yeah,
the player, what value you can add. And if I can always feel कि अगर if I move out from the dressing room by just making sure that I've made a 1% difference in that team,
yeah,
I've done my job.
yeah. You worked with Rahul Dravid, so you worked with Vikram sir. You guys made your debuts together as well, if I'm not mistaken. So how has been that partnership been?
Uh, Wonderful.
How has been that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think in '96 when we played together, made that debut on the England tour. Honestly, if you look back and obviously we've spoken about it, we discussed this. We never imagined that journey
mm,
would take us to coaching. Okay,
yeah,
obviously at that point you're playing, your focuses are different.
yeah,
Obviously, after retirement, individually everyone went in different paths, and as you said, it's destiny that got us together. Rahul came in, he took over in charge of the junior cricket,
yeah.
got me involved, and then obviously Vicky was also coaching. So
Mm,
eventually, a big circle comes to an end, isn't it? It's just finishing from playing together, coaching together, and obviously moving out on a very high.
yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better end.
You just mentioned that high, sir, and probably the best movement, best way to bow out from certain responsibility, winning a World Cup with the team that was thriving for it. Finals पहुंच रहे थे, नहीं जीत पा रहे थे, and eventually that trophy came in. So I would like to ask you two things here. First,
Yeah.
when that जब वो last ball हुआ वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल की, वो फिक्स हो गया कि नाउ दिस द वर्ल्ड कप इज गोइंग होम. सेकंड, जब 2023 का जो ओडीआई हम हारे, वहां से लेके यहाँ तक की जर्नी, हाउ वाज इट? इफ यू कैन जस्ट बाइफरकेट दीस टू थिंग्स.
I think first point I'll come to, it's
या,
what you go through after you winning. Obviously,
या,
at the second when Rabada got out,
हम्म,
when Hardik we dismissed Rabada, I
या,
think that's at the time. That's the time you actually felt kind of sunken in. Now we got control of this. This is ours now. We can't go away from here.
या,
I remember a moment before. I think when Miller got out. I
या,
think at the stage where the game was hanging,
या,
16 of 6 balls, still Miller on strike. I think that delivery that Miller got out, it's kind of all that energy. Sometimes all that stress sucks out. You felt that
या,
little bit, that a big relief that you had, and that's what everyone had in that dressing room. A big relief. That main
या,
main guy who a little worry for us when he
हाँ,
got out, little kind of that everything sucks out. But the
या,
the the last ball actually now take you back to the last ball when he finished and when Overfield knew that this is ours. It's just like
या,
everything, like all the stress, all that happened, just something sucks out. It just makes you
या,
empty, and you
या,
felt weak. And actually, that's what happened. Talk about
या,
emotions because you're carrying this for a long time. You carry this for years now, and you know that you're so close. You've done fabulously well in the tournament to reach the finals,
या,
knowing that this is a 50-50 chance. This is 50 chance that we need to take, and especially when you really get hold, knowing that this is it. We are world champions. I thought
या,
that was fabulous. Just drained you out. For me,
या,
especially, so much of emotions going through it just drained you out. For a few moments, you're numb. Yeah, you're celebrating that you could have
या,
seen that in the dressing room, like
या,
everyone was celebrating it. But it just
हाँ,
took a little while to really sink in that now this is it, you're world champions. So yeah, that was a fabulous moment that none of us will ever forget.
या,
Taking you back to the 50 over World Cup is heartbreaking if you look at the way things were. Again, we played
Yeah.
consistent cricket throughout the tournament. From the very first
Mm.
game, we were challenged. We were put into very difficult situations.
Mm.
We were into difficult situations. We fought out.
Yeah.
Look at the Australia game. We were 30, 20, 15 for 3, fought away from there and won that game.
Mm.
And other games as well. Yeah, I think that obviously was, we had that knowing that we played consistent cricket, and then the
Mm.
finals. Obviously
Mm.
knowing that, yes, we are there. We worthwhile of being in the
Mm.
finals. We played quality cricket, and
Yeah.
we everyone wanted to win that tournament, right? Wanted to win
Mm.
that cup, and especially that didn't happen. But also, I can tell you it was a heartbreaker. That
Mm.
environment in the dressing room, the energy out there. You could see faces. You could see people.
Mm.
What it meant to people for who've been for years. Someone like Rohit, someone like Virat, who from 2000. I think Virat was in 2011 team. I don't. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, he was in
Yeah. He
11
was
team,
there. He
right?
was there. He was there. Yeah.
And it's about 13 years that
Yeah.
being there, not winning it,
Mm.
being there, finals, semi-finals, and actually not winning it. I thought it really could see that on the people's faces, and obviously people outside as well, all the
Yeah.
public and people who really it meant to. I know it meant for everyone, but it just kind of really the environment was, you felt that this is it, how much
Mm.
this means to each and every individual. And obviously you work really hard and you don't achieve
Mm.
what you really eventually want. It's very difficult feeling to fathom sometimes, and but yeah, as you said, you need to overcome, think about
Yeah.
it. But yeah, and from there, obviously again the World Cup T20 going up and down, that game coming so close, 30 balls, 30.
I was
It's a
coming to
great circle.
that 30 ball 30
Yeah,
only. उस
yeah,
समय क्या बातचीत थी, बिकॉज अक्सर ने एक इंटरव्यू में बोला है कि रोहित केम टू हिम एंड सेड बॉस इट्स ओके दिस हैपेंस एंड यू बोल्ड रियली वेल. तो
yeah,
उस समय ड्रेसिंग रूम में क्या बातचीत थी कि 30 ऑफ 30, बिकॉज T20 as a game, as a format, is something where you get a couple of dot balls or a wicket here and there brings you back in the game as well. अगर वो
yeah,
6 रन 6 पर बॉल पर रन चाहिए तो आपको वापस भी ला सकता है अगर एक आध डॉट बॉल निकल जाता है. सो व्हाट वाज द चैट
yeah.
लाइक इन द ड्रेसिंग रूम?
सो ऑब्वियसली अक्सर का आपने ओवर देखा होगा. आई थिंक ओवरऑल ऑब्वियसली जिस तरह से क्लासन बैटिंग कर रहा था,
हाँ.
करंटली में अभी आई फील currently he's one of the top T20 batters in the world. It's
या.
number one. I think number one हो सकता है. जिस तरह से वो consistently batting कर रहा है. Ability to play spin, ability to play fast. Both.
या.
Comfortable दोनों के against है. So वो एक था. Obviously he was one of the top of the game. अगर आप अक्सर का ओवर डिवाइड देखोगे और बॉल बाय बॉल जाओगे, कहीं पे वहां पे नहीं लग रहा था कि खराब बॉल खेलते. जो भी उसने शॉट खेले थे, ऐसा नहीं लग रहा था कि रूम दिया, हाफ वॉली दिया, आगे दिया. जो भी लेंथ डाला था, विच इज अ डिफिकल्ट लेंथ डाला था, उसने मारा था. सो
या.
ऑब्वियसली बॉलिंग अच्छी, ओवर अच्छी की थी. और ऐसा भी होता है, जैसे रोहित ने ऑब्वियसली ग्राउंड पे बात की है उसके साथ, होता है कंसिस्टेंटली, अक्सर ने ओवर अच्छे डाले. पर अगर
हाँ.
कोई ऐसा बैट्समैन अच्छे फॉर्म में होता है, आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते. यू काइंड ऑफ लिमिटेड उस चीज के. आप होप कर सकते हो कि कहीं ना कहीं वो एक बॉल मिस टाइम करे, कहीं ऊपर
या.
चला जाए, या अच्छा नहीं लगे और बाउंड्री लाइन पे आउट हो जाए. वो डिफरेंस वही होता है,
या.
एक 2 यार्ड का डिफरेंस होता है. पार चले जाती है, हाथ में आती है.
हाथ में आती.
तो हम वही होप कर रहे थे कि अगर नहीं लगा था, पर उसने शॉट्स ही अच्छे खेले. आई थिंक 30 बॉल 30 पे जब गेम आता है, ऑब्वियसली जब ऐसे आता है, आप जिस तरह से दोनों बैट्समैन वहां पे, क्लासन है या मिलर है, दोनों, आपको मालूम है कि गेम थोड़ा उनके पक्ष में, तो ड्रेसिंग रूम में ज्यादा है, बेहतर होगा, ज्यादा फेवर उनके में, हमारे में थोड़ा कम था. तो होप कर रहे थे कि कहीं ना कहीं क्लासन आउट हो जाए, बिकॉज जिस तरह से वो बैटिंग फॉर्म में था, हमें मालूम था अगर वो और 15 बॉल खेल रहा था, गेम चले जाता था. 15 बॉल का गेम था, वो चले जाता था. जिस तरह से वो बैटिंग कर रहा था, उसने इंटेंशन वेरी क्लियर थे, वो 6 ही मार रहा था. जो भी उनके बैट पे लग रहा, बल्ला लगा, वो बाहर ही जा रहा था. ऐसा नहीं कि इधर जा रहा था ग्राउंड पे, वो बाहर ही मार रहा था. तो हमें मालूम था कि 15 बॉल का गेम, अगर वो आउट नहीं हुआ तो गेम काफी चला जाएगा हमारे हाथ से, कि एक एंड से हमें क्लासन को आउट करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था. बिकॉज अगर हम एक एंड खुल जाता वो एंड से, सब प्रेशर मिलर पे था, फिर उसको ही फिनिश करना पड़ता था. बिकॉज हमें मालूम था उसके बाद थोड़ा बैटिंग दूसरे एंड से एक एंड ओपन हो जाता. उसके बाद यानसन आता है, रबाडा था, महाराज था और शमसी था. सो बैटिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेथ 7 नंबर पे यानसन आ रहा था. तो हमें मालूम था कि एक एंड बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था वो स्टेज पे, और क्लासिक का विकेट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट था. और जैसे आपने देखा, जिस तरह से कनेक्शन हुआ कि हार्दिक ने विकेट निकाल दिया, बाहर डिलीवरी थी, वाइड दिया, क्लासन को लग, आई थिंक जैसे ऐसे फॉर्म में कोई बैट्समैन होता है तो ऐसा लगता है कि रूम मिला है, ये 4 है मेरा. एंड आई थिंक वो एज था. सो आई थिंक वो एक लक कभी ना कभी ऐसे मोड़ पे आप चाहते हो कि अपनी तरफ आ जाए. और वही लक था जो हमारी तरफ आ गया। आई थिंक वो इम्पोर्टेंट, वो स्टेज पे इम्पोर्टेंट विकेट मिली हमें, बिकॉज उसके बाद हमें मालूम था एक ओवर बूम डालने वाला है, अर्श डालने वाला था। सो आई थिंक वो ओवर्स दोनों के थे वहां पे, हमें मालूम था कि वो 12-16 ओवर का गेम है, 18 बॉल का गेम है जो हम कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज हमारे मेन बॉलर्स डालेंगे। और फिर हम जितना एंड तक खींच सकते थे खींचा। आई थिंक वो जो टारगेट था ऑब्वियसली 16 रन, आप वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल लास्ट 6 बॉल में आपको मालूम है कि अगर 16 रन करने हैं एज अ बैट्समैन, आपको मालूम है कि आप ही के ऊपर है वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, आपको ही करना है। कभी कभी प्रेशर आ ही जाता है, और जैसे हुआ जो फर्स्ट बॉल जैसे चला गया, मिलर का लगा नहीं, सूर्या का ब्रिलियंट कैच। आई थिंक इन जस्ट द गेम एक इट्स अ फिनोमिनल मूवी जैसा था यार, ऑनेस्टली। आई थिंक 6 बॉल 16 रन, एक बैट्समैन बैटिंग कर रहा है, हीरो जैसे बोलते हैं अब मुझे ही करना है। और पहला बॉल जिस तरह से लगा, एक इनिशियल बिट पे जो कनेक्ट हुआ, हमें लगा कि ये चला गया, बिकॉज हवा
चला
थोड़ी
गया।
लगा रहा था, बिकॉज लकी भी ऐसा था कि थोड़ा हवा के डायरेक्शन वहां से अंदर की तरफ था, तो उसके कारण थोड़ा बॉल रुक गया। सूर्या ने वो ब्रिलियंट कैच लिया। सो आई थिंक या कंप्लीट ब्रिलियंट फिनिश।
ब्रिलियंट ब्रिलियंट बॉलीवुड का एक वो
कंप्लीट
जैसे मूवीज आजकल बन रही है ना, स्पोर्ट्स पे बायोपिक्स
कंप्लीट
बन रही है,
कंप्लीट कंप्लीट
कंप्लीट
कंप्लीट
मूवी
था।
है।
या आई एग्री।
But sir, Rahul Dravid said in one of the interactions with someone ki it was Rohit's one call that got him that inspiration ki okay, let's continue a bit more T20 World
या
Cup तक. So did
या
you get any kind of call or something or text या कुछ उसके बारे में आप कुछ बता सकते हो, किसी से ऐसा बात हुआ आपका?
नहीं, आई थॉट जैसे राहुल ऑब्वियसली आफ्टर द वर्ल्ड कप जो फाइनल्स हुए थे, एंड राहुल हैड अ चैट विद इंडिविजुअली विद सम ऑफ सपोर्ट स्टाफ। विकी से
Okay.
मेरे से बात की थी, और विकी उसने बोला था कि दिस इज माय, आई थिंक दिस इज द एंड फॉर मी। यहाँ से आई थिंक आई एम नॉट लुकिंग एट एक्सटेंडिंग और एक आगे, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली आप 2 साल इतने इन्वेस्टेड, यू इन्वेस्टेड फॉर 2 years you in that. So obviously you really everything is completely invested. Obviously it didn't work the way he wanted it. Initial bid, the tenure was 2 years for us. Individual for everyone was for 2 year
Yeah.
assignments. And I don't think after the World Cup, the way things it went for him, I thought he just took a lot out of him. Obviously so he told us, he mentioned that this is it. This is it. I'm just not looking at extension because I'm happy. I just want to go this way. Obviously, with 6 months down the line, there was another World Cup which was coming. So obviously, Rohit got in touch because they had a great rapport. I thought over the period, obviously they played together, Rohit and
Yeah.
Rahul. I think Rahul has been a captain, but Rohit was in the team.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's had a lot of respect for him. And over the period last 2 years, obviously a great bond. They connected with each other. Having, I remember a lot of discussions, and I think give credit to both of them. I thought with Rohit as well, because he was invested as well. A lot of meetings that we were just hung out for dinners and just casual talk about what we want to do about this team, how do you want to take it forward. So I think there was a bond out there, and I think Rohit was also very comfortable with Rahul, and I think great, as you said, that he made that call and convinced him
Yeah.
to just kind of move on and try for another World Cup and just extend it and change his view. But yeah, thank God it was destiny, I guess. It had to happen. Someone's career who's someone who's been a legend of this game, served
Yeah.
it in cricket, and kind of having that finale and finishing on such a high, I think deserving for both, for Rahul
And
and Rohit as well.
yeah, so coming to the coaching bit now, we have seen कि बैट्समैन के डे ऑफ्स होते हैं, ब्रेक लेते हैं नेट सेशन से, जो प्रैक्टिस सेशंस होते हैं, bowlers लेते हैं, but the support staff, the side arms, they never have a day off. So how much physically and mentally this takes a toll कि boss we also need a kind of a break, या क्या क्या बात होता है उस समय, क्योंकि आपको तो फील्ड पे रहना ही है.
As you said rightly, I said as a player आपके पास ऑप्शन होता है कि आप ब्रेक लो या नहीं लो, है ना. कभी कभी बहुत टाइम, जैसे अगर एक टूर्नामेंट में आप घुस जाते हो, होता है, तो एक ऑप्शनल जैसे होता है, कैप्टन कोच हम डिसाइड करते हैं कि अभी जो प्रैक्टिस सेशन है, बिकॉज कभी कभी मैच के बीच में टाइम नहीं रहता. सो
Yeah.
ऑब्वियसली आप स्किल तो टच काफी प्रैक्टिस करते रहते हो. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है ये स्टेज पे आप मेंटली और फिजिकली भी फ्रेश हो. सो कोशिश तो वही रहती है प्लेयर्स को जितना आप फ्रेश रख सकते हो, बिकॉज उनका परफॉर्मेंस और प्रदर्शन बहुत ही अच्छा होता है वो
Yeah.
गेम्स में, तो यू वर्क ऑन दैट. सो एक ऑप्शनल होता है ऑलवेज प्लेयर्स के लिए कि आपको प्रैक्टिस करना है या नहीं करना है. एंड दैट्स अ चैट पे आप डालते हो, ग्रुप पे डालते हो, कौन आ रहा है पता चलता है कि कोई आ रहा है, कोई ऑफ ले रहा है. सो जनरली एज अ प्लेयर आपके पास ऑप्शन होता है. as a support sub, you don't have the option. Kabhi what happens is, obviously in a team there's 14, 15 guys, right? There are 11 playing and 4 outside who don't get an opportunity in a game. So obviously they want to have a knock in the net. They want to practice as well. So sometimes the optional becomes for the players who played, and the others would want to come. So obviously the practice still goes on. So from the support staff point of view, and each and every individual that is involved, I think you never sometimes don't get a break. You hardly get a break to kind of so it's tough. It's mentally and physically very tiring. It's challenging because there's a lot of travel involved. You're constantly thinking about the game because as a player you just focus. You're just focusing on your skill many times, and as a player, as a bowler, you're focusing on just how you're going to deliver, how you're going to bowl. If you're part of a bowling, if you're part of a support staff, especially batting, bowling, or Rahul sometimes, it's all about the team, right? It's all about the whole, completely. You're looking after the team itself. And the thought process is how do we get this right, in terms of this tournament is there, this game is there, what are the things that we need to do. Obviously a lot of discussions. The analyst comes in, you sit with the analyst saying that, okay fine, these are the opponents from the bowling perspective, what are the batsmen are we looking at, so constantly planning keeps going on. So you mentally kind of involved all the time, so there's no time where you can go back to the room and say you switched off. So it's challenging, yeah, but as you said, it's rewarding as well, so yeah, it's both ways, yeah.
When that elusive trophy comes into the cabinet, it वो सब पूरा हो जाता है सारा वो
100%, boss. When you when
mental,
you hold that when you hold that trophy, that feeling you'll never forget, boss. मैं कभी नहीं भूल सकता वो जो आप पकड़ते हो, जो ट्रॉफी है इतने सालों से आप चाहते हो, जो टीवी पे देख रहे हैं कि लोग पकड़ रहे हैं और जीत रहे हो, जो यूफोरिया दिख रहा है, जो हैप्पीनेस दिख रहा है लोगों के, तभी पता चलता है कि क्या फील होता है. आई थिंक वो कभी आप भूल नहीं सकते.
True. So coming to a certain, talking to certain players, like we saw you spent a lot of time with Shreyas ahead of that Sri Lanka game, and then he went all guns blazing. So ये क्या बातचीत होता है प्लेयर के साथ, या क्या एक राइट फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड में रखने के लिए एक कोचिंग स्टाफ एज अ सपोर्ट स्टाफ क्या बातचीत होती है एक इंडिविजुअल प्लेयर से?
I think one very clear. I think conversations काफी time से चलते हैं. I think वो time पे तो I think as a game आप तो खुला छोड़ते हो ज़्यादा. You don't really confuse people so much. The conversations बहुत पहले से बात हो चुकी थी कि क्या एक तो होता है कि आप टीम, जब आप when you take over a team, जैसे राहुल ने, या when we took over a team, एक टीम की फिलोसफी होती है कि आप टीम क्या करना चाहती है, आगे जाके क्या ब्रांड ऑफ क्रिकेट खेलना चाहती है, आप क्या करना चाहते हो, किस तरह से ये गेम अप्रोच करना चाहते हो, एक काइंड ऑफ आप एक एवरी इंडिविजुअल का यू सेट यू डिस्कस करते हो, and you come to team philosophy that this is what we want to, this is how we're going to go ahead and play, knowing very clearly that with such a format, I think there are going to be also there'll be chances that this will not come through in some of the games, right? And it's this purely the format, because you have to play in a certain way, you have to try and put up a score if you're batting first, or defend. Sometimes you're defending big scores, so that you'll have to keep attacking, you're going to lose wickets, so it may not come through. To be able to accept the fact that yes, it may not come through in one of the games or couple of games, that's fine, but we will still will not remove the what do you say, the foot of the pedal. This is what we keep going ahead, that's it, we're going to keep trying it, accept it. Yes, what are the areas, look back and say, okay fine, haven't gone your way, where at what point it hasn't gone in your favor, or what is that you can do differently in the other game. And I think the discussion all about that. And when you give an individual a clarity, obviously a lot of discussion goes on one-on-one with the player itself. As a team you have one, but there are 11 individuals in a team when you're on the field, and everyone has to play his part. Knowing the fact that out of 11, not 11 will be successful. They'll have a couple of them will have an off day, but whoever having a good day, very well make sure that you win that, you take it through. So I think that's kind of a discussion that you have. Also, the fact is equally important having the captain on board, knowing that captain is backing you, and in case it doesn't go that way, in case you need to take a risk, and you okay with it. If the captain says we will back you, if your head coach says Rahul and saying fine, even that doesn't come through, we will back you. I think once you have the team backing, the management backing you, and showing that I may not. So as a player, you always have worry that if it doesn't come through, will I be playing the next game? If that kind of sword hangs on your head, you're never going to
Yeah.
perform. You're never going to play fearlessly. That's what you've seen, right? So the conversation with every individual, maybe Shreyas or whatever, is all that about going ahead and expressing yourself. You hear a lot of term people saying, I'm just going to go and express myself. I think it's just the fact that expressing is playing your game, the way that you know this game, and you just gonna go and execute your plan. That is what is really I mean by executing. And if you go in and play that with that game fearlessly, knowing that I have got my team backing, and it comes through. So the conversation is more about that. It happens a lot before, but yeah, having that security in the dressing room as a player is so important. And I think that's where everyone as a support staff, we have a big role to play to create that environment and team room where it's a happy team room and people are backing each other and no criticism at all.
So does that also, कहीं ना कहीं ये भी एक impact होता है कि जैसे you have been people come like the players are coming from under 19s, the NCA, then the India A, and you have been together. So कहीं ना कोई trust factor भी आ जाता है in both the parties कि boss whatever the other person is saying is probably right.
Yeah, I think the most important bit that the time you need to spend with the individual is it's to create that bond, create a trust. I think that's where most of the time. Yes, at some point or the other, being part of the NCA for me, I have had some kind of association with the player. Somewhere on the line, they're part of the system. They've been to the NCA from the under 19s or India. So you interacted a lot. I think from the interaction, obviously, there's a bond that is being created, that gets created, and it's all about trust. And for me, it's that I spend a lot of time with an individual, knowing that individual in and out, kind of what, because everyone comes to a different background, right? You come in a different team environment. It's just sometimes you assume that he might be in a great space, but he may not be. There's certain issues that he's going through, that a certain
Yeah.
baggage that he's carrying in the team, in the dressing room, which will not help him, which is not great for him, and then obviously for the team as well. So obviously you
Yeah.
go back and spend a lot of time discussing, creating that trust. And I think once you have that bond, once you have that trust, so whatever decision, maybe as a coach, you'll have to have a tough call. You have to have tough uh, talk with one of the bowlers or players, whatever. You'll have to have that at some point or the other. But if a player knows that the reason why a certain thing is spoken or discussed with the intent behind it, I think that there's no issue then. So he knows it's for the player himself, the betterment of the player, and obviously in that larger picture is for the team being successful. So I think once you have that trust, create that trust, I think the conversations are easier.
Yeah. So you have been repeatedly talked about कि it's lesser about the technical thing because obviously उस लेवल पे जो प्लेयर खेल रहा है वो टेक्निकली थोड़ा ट्वीक इधर उधर करना पड़ता है जब वो फॉर्म खराब हुआ है या प्रॉब्लम है.
Yeah, yeah.
इट्स मोर अबाउट द मेंटल थिंग कि back of the mind क्या चल रहा है. Let's suppose picking up an example of Kuldeep. So after a rough patch he made a comeback, and what a phenomenal comeback. So
Yeah.
how do you guys manage that? Because what kind of confidence do what kind of interaction do you have with the players who is coming from that kind of a rough patch?
Okay, so obviously when you look back is when you have someone like player like Kuldeep comes in. He had a pretty much kind of a successful stint prior to maybe initial bit of his career. And then obviously with things weren't working away, others came in and, someone like Yuzi or other guys came in and, were doing better. So obviously he was, moved out from that dressing room, right? So first and foremost, you need to understand is where is Kuldeep in terms of his strengths and the area that he needs to work on. I think that's a lot of work that goes. That's where your analyst comes in, and Hari was a great help, for us, for me especially this stint that I did with the team. Great help, guys who a little bit understanding of cricket. He plays a little bit league cricket in Chennai. He's played, so understands cricket as well. So great help from him. So that's where you come sit with him. Obviously, you work with a technical bit to find one is there can we tweak a little bit and will that doing in that period will help him or not. So that's one. So once the other, then it's a lot of conversations with the individual that you have of where he is right now in terms of the mental space. Fitness is the other parameter that we need to address. Is he carrying an injury or not? Is he dragging it through? Do we need to sort that? So there are 2 or 3 things that in a triangle that you look into, right? 3 points. You cover those 3 points and you start taking it one by one. So maybe first a little with Kuldeep, especially when he came in. Obviously, if you see, I could realize that he wasn't really getting what he wanted out of his bowling, right? Obviously he was trying certain things. He wasn't being successful. So as a bowler, you try certain things and if it doesn't come through, there's a lot of frustration there. You're really challenging yourself. A lot of frustration there. So obviously one was worked a little bit, a tweak, as you said, little tweak in his technical bit. Just if you compare it, and just for the sake we're chatting about it, if you look at Kuldeep 2.5 years back, and you Kuldeep now, just check the angle of run up. Just change a little bit of the angle of run up, got him a little straighter. Where that allowed him to what helped him was with the lines, lengths, and the speeds. If you look at Kuldeep right now, is much quicker. So obviously, when you are quicker in the air and you get a lot after the ball, when he delivers the ball, there's a lot spin into it and just comes off of the wicket surface very quickly. So I think that helped him as well. So that was one, and just have that conversation. Just making sure that that's where you need to spend time with individual to understand what is Kuldeep's expectation from me. That's equally important. I have a certain plan in my mind. I need to understand Kuldeep, what does he expect out of me, right? And as long as the conversation, that's where you have that conversation with him saying that, okay, fine, this is what Kuldeep needs, and this is what every individual needs. So I need to have those conversations in the way that which help benefit Kuldeep. I think that's what time that you spend off the ground, off the of the field, a lot more, just to have that, just not a very serious discussion as well. Maybe coffee or maybe breakfast you can sometimes meet, and just have just discuss one point, maybe just casually, but that is for my knowing that I need to go back, and this is what is Kuldeep thinking, this is what is frame of mind. When I address that problem, in future, when it comes, I know this is the way I need to handle Kuldeep.
Okay.
So that's
So
what happens.
This is about a player who probably had a rough patch or an off day. But, in your tenure, there have been players who have come from a kind of a career-threatening injuries who have made a comeback. So, have you ever sensed kind of insecurities, among themselves कि boss, आज खेल लिए, next time क्या होने वाला है? Something of that sort. कभी ऐसा insecurity का feeling आपको लगा है किसी से बात करते हुए?
See, insecurity दिखेगी नहीं. आप कोई भी बंदा आके, कोई प्लेयर आके बात नहीं करेगा ऐसा. But you have to sense it, because आप अगर इतना टाइम अगर इंडिविजुअल के साथ आप स्पेंड करते हो, तो पता चलता है कि उसके बॉडी लैंग्वेज से, उसके बात से, वो किस तरह से कौन से वर्ड्स यूज कर रहा है. अगर एक प्लेयर यूज कर रहा है, अगर आप जितना टाइम उसके साथ स्पेंड करते हो, तो आपको पता चलता है कि ये अक्सर अगर ये बुमराह बात कर रहे हैं, ये बुमराह के अगर कोई वर्ड्स या किस डायरेक्शन में कॉन्वर्सेशन लीड हो रहा है, तो उसका थॉट प्रोसेस पता चलता है. तो उसके लिए आपको टाइम उसके लिए बिताना पड़ता है एवरी इंडिविजुअल के, तो अंडरस्टैंड के लिए कि ये कहाँ से मैं पिक कर सकता हूँ कुछ, और कहाँ पे ये कॉन्वर्सेशन लीड हो रहा है. सो होगा. आई थिंक वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंसर्न्स हमारे लिए था, ऑब्वियसली इंडिविजुअल के था, बुमराह के लिए था. जब बुमराह की जो इंजरी हुई थी, ऑब्वियसली एक सीरीज में हुआ था, वो मैच के पहले बॉलिंग कर रहा था, और मैच के बॉलिंग जब हुआ था साउथ अफ्रीका, आई थिंक वो साउथ अफ्रीका की सीरीज थी, आई थिंक वाइजैग में थी शायद, ऐसा कहाँ था उधर, वाइजैग में उधर किधर थी. तो बॉलिंग कर रहा था, मैच के पहले ही फेल्ट अ लिटिल जर्क पैड फीट में. सो ऑब्वियसली फिजियोस थे वहां पे, उन्होंने लगा कि मे बी इट्स द बेस्ट थिंग कि मे बी एक दो मैच ब्रेक ले लो, और फिर बाकी के सीजन वो अवेलेबल होगा. वैसा हुआ नहीं. आई थॉट इंजरी लॉट मोर सीरियस थी, जैसे बाकी के लग रहा था. फिजियो के एनालाइज करने के बाद लगा कि थोड़ा ज्यादा सीरियस था, सो ही विल बी ऑफ फॉर अ व्हाइल. एंड देन यू रियलाइज योर बैक का इशू था उसका, इट बिकेम, एंड देन लेड टू थोड़ा पॉइंट एंड देन द ऑपरेशन. सो कहीं ना कहीं एज अ प्लेयर वो कंसर्न होता ही है. अगर आप, आई कैन इमेजिन, पुट योरसेल्फ, बुमराह की जगह आप डाल सकते हो. पीक ऑफ योर करियर राइट नाउ, आपके पास काफी 6 साल 7 इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट के खेलने के है. आपके मन में आपको अनसर्टेनिटी है एज अ बैक. आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड, कभी कभी एंकल होता है तो यू आर नॉट सो मच वरीड, अगर नी होता है नॉट सो मच वरीड, पर एक बैक ऐसी चीज है, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज बॉलिंग के बैक पे रिलेटेड होता है. अगर वो कंसर्न आपके पास होता है कि अरे मैं ये इंजरी से उबर सकता हूँ कि नहीं हो, एक करियर थ्रेटनिंग इंजरी थी उसके लिए. सो आप जो कॉन्वर्सेशंस उसके साथ करते हो, ऑब्वियसली फॉलो अप होता है. एज एन आउटसाइड, ऑब्वियसली इट्स एवरीथिंग अबाउट फिजियो. यहाँ पे ले लेगा फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट, जो डॉक्टर्स लेते हैं, मेडिकल स्टाफ, फिजियोस टेक ओवर, एंड देन योर फिटनेस कम्स इन, और आप होते हो एज अ स्किल, आप थोड़ा पीछे होते हो. आप यही कर सकते हो कि हैव दैट कॉन्वर्सेशन विद हिम. कभी ना कभी फोन उठा के, यार वो क्या चल रहा है, या कोई भी प्लेयर के बारे में उससे आप बात कर सको कि कैसे हाल है, क्या चल रहा है. एक ही होता है कि आप कर सकते हो, उसको लगना चाहिए कि ही इज बीइंग रिमेम्बर्ड. उसको हम ऐसे नहीं कि हम जस्ट टीम में आया इसके लिए कि हम याद करेंगे व्हाटएवर. सो एक पर्सनल रिलेशन आप होता है, और ओवर द पीरियड एक रिलेशन बन जाता है प्लेयर के साथ, और एक ऑनेस्ट रिलेशन बन जाता है. सो प्लेयर को जस्ट आप करते, जस्ट बी इन टच, सेइंग कि यार क्या चल रहा है, हालचाल कैसी है. एंड वी कंसिस्टेंटली डिल दैट विद, नॉट इन बुमराह के साथ नहीं, एवरी अदर प्लेयर के साथ वी डन इट. अगर वो if want to maybe a little niggle also हो, अगर वो
Yes.
NCA चला गया है, तो each one of everyone individually, I think Rohit has done it, Rahul has done it, I've done it. Just call up and say,
Mm.
find out just through the medical staff and the player, find
Mm.
out कि क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हो रहा है, कितना time frame है, I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
That's it. Making sure that he's knowing that he's not, people are not forgotten here. बहुत difficult होता है वो phase पे when lonely. You don't want the player to be lonely, and that's what the
Yeah.
whole thing we felt there.
Yeah. You just mentioned Bumrah's example, but what is that one thing that makes him so special? Because you have the best seat, and past for 10, 12, 18 months, you have seen him from the very close quarters, your injuries to bowling those spells in the World Cups and winning it for India. What it is that makes him so special?
Skill wise, freak. I think freak.
Okay.
He's a freak. Seriously, man. Any other thing आप बात कर रहे हो, in a bowling bit, you talk about as a bowler, just looking at थोड़ा technical, तो कि run up होना चाहिए, fast bowler needs a run up, take that
Mm.
momentum through, go through the crease quicker. But if you look at Boom right now,
Mm.
pretty much just walks in, doesn't even
Mm.
run.
Mm.
Just the way he releases the ball, just walks in 4-5 steps. Obviously, now his little length and his run up is when it doesn't
Yeah.
make a difference. If you ask him to bowl for 4 steps, also he'll be as quick as what he's doing right
Yeah.
now. But just a natural ability, right? Out here,
Mm.
unlike any other fast bowler. The way he releases, if you look at just the way he releases, he's a good 20 centimeter ahead of any other bowler in the world. Freak,
Mm.
the pointer. So
Mm.
obviously distance is covered. A
Mm.
normal bowler will be kind of on in line with the crease. Bumrah
Yeah.
releases from here.
Yeah.
You gained out there. Hyperextension is other thing. So basically it's just a freak. Yeah, man. He just born that way, and I
Yeah.
think it's obviously you're born with a skill, but
Mm.
damn, he's worked hard for it, man.
Mm.
He's gone through the Ranji Trophy, the base by bowling so much, played a lot of first class cricket. He's created
Mm.
the base. He's gone through tough phase. He's tested his body again and again, and then gone through seasons without injury. So obviously honed his skills there, mastered
Mm.
his skill there, and over the period with the experience that he has, is just the intelligence. If you look at the way he bowls the right ball at the right time. So he
Yeah.
thinks about the game, right? He's not just a run-in bowler who just comes in
Mm.
and just bowl. He's a thinking bowler, and I think
Yeah.
that's one thing I believe, that a greatness of a cricketer is always in his head,
In
and
his
that's
head.
where his strength is. He thinks about his game, he analyzes the batsman, and he both senses it. As a bowler, you sense sometimes as this is what a batsman is going to do, and this is the ball he's expecting. He just doesn't bowl that ball. Yeah, so that's boom for you.
Okay. Okay. This is boom, but we also have a Mohammed Shami who's right now injured, coming back to he's now getting back to the practice and all. What is that one thing कि ये जो कॉम्बिनेशन है दो दो बॉलर्स का इन दो फास्ट बॉलर्स का दैट इज लीथल. ये मैं तीन तीन चीजों में बाइफरकेट करूंगा. फर्स्ट देयर कॉम्बिनेशन,
Hmm.
सेकंड मोहम्मद शामी को क्या वो चीज है जो स्पेशल बनाती है, एंड थर्ड बिकॉज ही इज ऑल्सो गेटिंग ओल्ड नाउ, थोड़ा सा एज का फैक्टर है. तो डू यू थिंक शामी शुड ऑप्ट फॉर अ सर्टेन फॉर्मेट टू प्रोलॉन्ग दैट करियर? सो थ्री
So,
पार्ट्स ऑफ दिस
so
क्वेश्चन.
let's talk about the combination. I think the
या
most lethal combination you can ever get. Two different kind of bowlers.
या
Obviously, Boom is something different. Lee is something different. Shami is a unique ability to land the balls up seam upright consistently, and I think that's where his strength is. Because if it's so upright, it doesn't know that it goes in or comes in or goes out as a batsman, and you're struggling ability. Plus, you add pace. So in terms of combination, both are unique, both are different, but both are equally effective. Very different ways of approaching. But when you have kind of a variety like this, as a batsman, you're gonna keep guessing. Yeah, you have someone like Bumrah who comes in the short run, does this, bowls slow run, Yorker, consistently hit the net. You have someone like Shami from the other end. Then you can't get away from either if both of them bowling together, right? Both are
या
gonna challenge you all the time. So as a batsman, you're gonna be challenged each and every delivery, right? So that's the combination. What was the second point you mentioned in terms of was it
in
third
terms
was
of
fitness, right?
that what yeah what does it what it is that makes him so special, Shami specifically, and should he, because of the age, should he opt for a
Yeah.
certain format?
So so as I said, in terms of if you look at the way he releases the ball, and it's
Yeah.
it's pretty much upright here. I haven't seen many bowlers in the world who land that seam that upright. each and every
Hmm.
time. If it's pretty upright seam, right? Ability does that. He has the ability to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's unique. Uh, The last time I had seen someone doing it is as good as him was maybe Srishant in Indian cricket.
Hmm.
I don't think anyone had that ability to really have an upright seam. Very rare. You don't see that really upright seam,
Yeah.
and that creates the doubt, right? Your upright seam ball comes in or goes out, you don't know, and you so keep
Yeah.
challenging. So that's a unique ability, and that's you born with. I think that's a gift that you have.
Hmm.
If that would be that any other ball in the world would be doing the same thing, would be able to do the same thing
Hmm.
after playing so much of cricket. You can't do that, so you're gifted that way. The
Yeah.
third bit is obviously I feel that you need to have that conversation with Shami, and
Hmm.
he needs to decide and have that real honest conversation. What does he want to do?
Hmm.
Obviously, and you
Hmm.
have to give him that choice. Talk to him, saying that
Hmm.
okay, fine, Lala, we call him fondly Lala. So Lala, what is that thing you want, right?
Hmm.
What is your plan? Where do you look at? Obviously, you have your trainers come, fitness star, SNC guys coming in, your doctors coming in, and they should be on board, saying that okay, fine, what
Hmm.
first and foremost, where do you look at? Do you want to play what
Hmm.
format do you want to play? You want to play
Hmm.
white? You want to play red? You want to play all? And just kind of have a conversation, very honest conversation, saying like, okay, fine, you're looking at maybe 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. You're
Hmm.
at your peak. Maybe let's look at 2 years from now. What is the amount of cricket that is there going ahead for India? Have that conversation with okay, fine, with white ball and red ball. This is the amount of games that we have. This is the amount of bowling we'll have to do. If you cut down on maybe one format, this is it. If you cut down either focus on only one format, this is what it is. Maybe red ball, the choice is his. You got to give him that choice, and then create a path, sitting with him on board, and then making that path. I think the decision has to be taken by Shami, having that conversation, and then you kind of then creating that path. But have that conversation. You may sometimes have to challenge him as well, saying that he may have a certain format in mind, or he may feel as a player, I feel I can play all three formats. But you got to also have to take a realistic call, saying, is it really beneficial? Is it how valuable you are for the team? And that Chami have is a valuable uh, player for the team, right? We need to make sure that he's there for the next 3, 4 years. So the purpose of if we can have him for the next 3 years, and how do we create that path for him? So have that conversation with him. That's the only way. It's a unique skill. Not many have that in the world. Forget the country.
Yeah.
So I would make sure that both of them, Bumrah and Shami, would be
Hmm.
around for as long as they can and do whatever is
Hmm.
required.
Coming to the young generations or young crop, what would be the roadmap from now on? अगले 10-12 महीने क्या रोड मैप रहना चाहिए इंडियन bowling का? Second, do you feel Arshdeep is kind of ready for the red ball to just have him around that red ball circuit? And also about the spin twins, it's still time, Jadeja and Ashwin, as and whenever they decide to bow out of the game, whom do you think can come in as a replacement probably for them, or can be the backup in the domestic circuit?
So roadmap is, I think it's all about the new staff. I think the support staff should have a chat, and that's their call
Hmm.
on how they want to take this team forward.
Hmm.
We had a certain roadmap, we've had a certain plans. I'm sure the other guys who come in recently will have a discuss. So I think I leave that up to them completely. I think that's
Yeah.
their call on how they want to take this forward for the next 2, 3 years, whatever. In terms of the other point was Arsh, right? We're discussing.
Arsh, yeah.
Yeah.
Arshdeep.
Yeah, I think the idea was to make sure obviously Arsh plays a lot of first class cricket. I think with the
Hmm.
red ball especially, yes, he's really honed his skills with white ball. If you look at the way he goes about T20 format, is fabulous. One day cricket as well. He started playing one day cricket. He showed in South Africa that he played. He picked up a five for. I think he's done. So you could see that with the white ball. He's effective.
Hmm.
Obviously, the challenge is sometimes now taking it forward to the red ball. I think that was the idea for us to make sure that in between when he was not part of the white ball team, he was given a break, made sure that when the test cricket was going on, we make sure that he played Ranji Trophy. And I think that's
Hmm.
where you really get better. You challenge yourself
Yeah.
mentally, physically. We're going through your bowling. You lot more bowling you're doing it, and the more you bowl, you can get a lot of control. So the idea was to make sure that he plays Ranji Trophy.
Has that stint in the county also helped him?
Yeah, so I was coming to that. So
Yeah.
when we had this thing red ball going in, and when the
Hmm.
county approached, I think that's
Hmm.
where we are. Obviously Rahul was also on par with this and on saying,
Yeah.
okay, fine, need to play county cricket. go through that experience, because challenging. County cricket is challenging, right?
Yeah.
You're playing 4 days, you're driving from one to the other, to go to 2 days break, you're playing a game and you're playing. So it's
Yeah.
constant travel bowling. So you're challenged. You're physically also you're challenged. You're mentally also you're challenged. And you have, as a pro, a lot of I played a lot of club cricket in England. So obviously I know that as a pro, it's all yours. So you have a lot of responsibility. Expect you to pick wickets, expect to win matches. So that added responsibility always on the pro, because everyone's looking at the pro. So obviously you have to be on top of the game. You can't be below par in any of the game. So you have to keep pushing yourself, right? I think that stint also has helped him, because he's come a very different bowler. So he's confident now. Obviously, ability to have that control. White ball was there, but if you look at Arshdeep's graph after he had the county stint with the white ball as well, he's gone up. So
Yeah.
that definitely has helped him for
Yeah.
the stint as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And coming to the spin twins, as I said, do you have क्योंकि बात होती है, you guys also have a keep a close watch on the domestic circuit as well. So as and when these two, Jadeja and Ashwin, decide to move on, do you think who are those players whom you think can come in?
Oh, I think it's a big challenge वो department पे for us यार, really. आप ऐश को और जड्डू को कैसे रिप्लेस करें, वो बड़ा प्रश्न रहेगा. आई डोंट नो, अगर रिप्लेस कर सकोगे, विज रिप्लेस कर सकोगे, आपको रिप्लेसमेंट मिलेगा. मुझे कठिन लग रहा है इन द नियर, जस्ट बिकॉज आपको जो भी बंदा नेक्स्ट आता है, उसको आपको थोड़ा टाइम, डेफिनेटली टाइम देना ही पड़ेगा. आपको उसको टाइम देना पड़ेगा. देयर बी अ टाइम, देयर बी अ प्लेटो, देयर बी अ टाइम, देयर बी अ डिप उसके करियर में, एंड देन देल सी. बट आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि उसमें से कौन से प्लेयर्स है. सो ऑब्वियसली आपके स्काउट्स है या फिर सिलेक्टर्स जो है वो मैच देखते हैं. Those are the guys actually बहुत helpful हुए हैं जो last bit में, जो been helpful. Lot of these guys वो match देखते हैं, they've gone out and suggestions उनसे आते हैं. So वो होगा कि उनसे आना पड़ेगा. वो tough है. It's gonna be, I don't see straight away आप नहीं honestly बोल सकते यार ऐश का replacement आपके पास available है, जड्डू का है. जड्डू का I would say to a certain extent है, depending on अपने surface पे, because you have अक्षर. एटलीस्ट वो एक डिपार्टमेंट थोड़ा कवर्ड है, बिकॉज अक्षर भी काफी क्रिकेट खेल चुके हैं, रेड बॉल खेला है, काफी सक्सेसफुल रहा है. सो वो आपके पास थोड़ा स्ट्रोक है. कोई जड्डू को अगर इंजरी हो तो स्ट्रेट अवे रिप्लेसमेंट आप अक्सर पर
You have a backup, yeah.
डेफिनेटली है. बट
Let's just hope they don't take a call on this.
I hope next 2 years they play red ball cricket. Ash, I know Ash at one stage you'll have to. Obviously, he's also, so there's a lot of wear and tear gone through in his career. So obviously, you'll have, as you said, conversations with them and creating a road path, sitting with them and saying, okay, fine, Ash, how do we take this forward? So you have in a time frame knowing that what Ash wants to do. Maybe Ash wants to play 1 year, Ash wants to play 2 years. Same with Jadu.
Yeah.
And then make sure that if you have 2 years with you, so obviously, having a chat with him, knowing that what Ash wants to do, maybe 1 year, 2 years. So you may have 2 years with Ash. So obviously, you need to find someone who is maybe not as good. Obviously, you feel have a lot of talent out there. Feel he's good enough to kind of move to the next level. Sit with him and kind of make sure that he's around with Ash. Have that conversation with Ash, and making sure that whoever you're focusing on, build on, have that trust. Spends a lot of time with Ash. Get him and drop him as a, maybe not be 15, but maybe 16 addition in the team room. Spends a lot of time in the team, understanding how Ash goes about his trade. What does he think? What his thought process is during a game, to be able to interact between a session, saying that, okay, fine, you bowled a certain way. Why did you bowl a certain way? That cannot be a better learning than that. So look at investing. You have certain bowlers you feel I want to do it, do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll have to go a couple of years to do it. So give that young rookie a time to spend time with the individual and get better.
Coming to the format, which is now seeing a lot of changes, the T20I format. How you have seen these boys becoming, getting that kind of a domination at the highest level. How do you see this change coming? Like Surya getting the captaincy, Gauti now coming in as the head coach, and that that thing Hardik was the captain when Rohit wasn't around, in the T20s, but now he'll be playing just as an all rounder in that format. So how do you see these things, and how would be the dressing room atmosphere environment in these new changes and challenges?
I think I'm sure when you have, when I'm assuming everyone has a conversation with an individual that you mentioned. I'm sure the new staff has had a conversation already, and the head coach
Yeah.
must have had a conversation with them and kept maybe the selector head, chairman of the selector, have kept them in the loop. Saying that
Mm.
this is the way forward. I think no decision is just taken randomly. I don't think just going to randomly decide that we're going to do it. So you have
Yeah.
that conversation with individuals. I'm sure they've had that conversation with them, and created why, and also discussed why they have that discussion, right? Why they have that made that change. So I think if both the parties on board, both the parties are aware why a certain decision, I don't think should make any change. The environment shouldn't change because you have already have that conversation. But as far
Yeah.
as road plan is concerned, I thought these guys, the new staff has to decide to drive this with obviously with Surya for the T20 format,
Mm.
Hardik obviously, and have that discussion where what is their future, right? In terms of
Mm.
where do they see this team going forward and where do they fit in? As you said, the conversation is already on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the way I feel that I'm sure they must have done it, and knowing Ajit and knowing more Ajit, I've not worked a lot with Gautam in that sense, but
Mm.
knowing Ajit, I know his approach, so he must have had that conversation already with individually with everyone,
Yeah.
and I don't see because eventually I always feel it's any decision that you take at the interest of the team. So as long as the team comes first, I think a player understands that,
Mm.
and I don't think that should be any issues in the dressing room.
Yeah. And Shuman as the vice captain, getting that kind of a responsibility now.
Lovely.
What are you?
I'm very happy
Yeah.
to see the way he went about with GT, the way he went about a little bit of whatever cricket I've seen, captaincy I've seen a little bit.
Mm.
Uh, you know, Exciting talent. As you said, I always feel this is a three format talent that you have available out there. He's been successful in all three formats. So yeah, young kid, has a lot of cricket left in him. Great work ethics. If you just
Yeah.
look at the way he's gone about, I've seen him from the under 19 years and just the progression that he's had in last few years and being actually a top of the game from being a white ball player to a opening form opener, to red ball, being
Mm.
successful, having a successful stint as far as test cricket is concerned. So brilliant. I'm look forward to it. I think it's nice. I think the more he, gets involved in, you see him growing as a player, and I'm sure you'll see him also growing as a captain.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. Last two questions. First, with Rahul Dravid sir being around, वो जो
Yeah.
bonding है, the way we saw him, letting go of that prize money and keep it same as a support staff. You remember those things, right? How, like, what is that bonding? What is that friendship? Can you just talk to me about that? Like, वो एक होता है ना, एक unfiltered kind of a friendship का जो एक वो है, वो बताइए.
आई थिंक एक ये तो अभी हुआ है वर्ल्ड कप के ये
Yeah.
सिमिलरली अंडर 19 के टाइम हुआ था. सो आप
Okay. Yeah.
आपको उसको उसके लिए आपको राहुल एज एन इंडिविजुअल आपको थोड़ा
Hmm.
ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. आई थिंक
Yeah.
ऑब्वियसली एज इंडिविजुअल वेरी सिंपल है, बहुत सिंपल बंदा है. यू नो
Yeah.
कोई एयर नहीं है इतने साल. वन ऑफ द
Hmm.
लेजेंड्स ऑफ द गेम इन ऑब्वियसली इंडिया में तो वन ऑफ द लेजेंड्स ऑफ द गेम. सो वर्ल्ड वाइड आई थिंक वन ऑफ द
Yeah.
इज अ लेजेंड ऑफ द गेम, राइट? सो आप
Hmm.
अगर उससे आप जो भी कन्वर्सेशन करोगे, कहीं ना कहीं क्रिकेट के बारे में खुद का आता नहीं है. खुद के बारे में इट्स ऑल कन्वर्सेशन अबाउट टीम, ऑल ऑफ उनके बंदे प्लेयर के बारे में कैसा है. सो लव्स टू बी इन द बैकग्राउंड में. कभी आगे आप
Hmm.
देखोगे नहीं राहुल को, कभी आगे नहीं देखोगे, ऑलवेज इन द बैकग्राउंड
Yeah.
देखोगे. वो एक नेचर है उसका, वो.
Hmm.
और आई थिंक ये अंडर 19 के टाइम भी हुआ था. आई रिमेम्बर
Yeah.
सिमिलर प्राइज जिसमें हुआ था,
2018.
सिमिलरली ये सेट. सो स्पीक्स अ लॉट
Yeah.
वो बंदे के बारे में, राइट? इंडिविजुअल के बारे में कि
Yeah.
कितना कंसर्न है लोगों के बारे में. एंड इट्स नॉट ओनली अबाउट हिम, इट्स ऑल अबाउट अदर्स. बहुत टाइम कॉन्वर्सेशंस हो गए. इट्स ऑल अबाउट प्लेयर इन टर्म्स. सो वेरी रेयरली आप यू सी हिम गिविंग प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस. वेरी
हाँ.
रेयरली, अगर जरूरत है तो वो देता है, नहीं तो वो जाएगा नहीं. ऑलवेज लाइक्स
Yeah.
प्लेयर्स टू टेक इट. सो एक नेचर है उसका, वो दैट यू कैन सी. और मैं आई एम नॉट टू सरप्राइज. इतने सालों से मैं उसका में तो 2015 से मेरा इंटरेक्शन था राहुल के साथ,
Hmm.
जब हमने अंडर 19 से एक साथ काम करना चालू किया. सो आई नो
जी.
वो कैसे कैसे बंदा है, क्या प्लेयर है, क्या सोचता है, किस तरह से उसका सोच है, और वो दर्शाता है जिस तरह से उसका नेचर है.
Hmm.
आई थिंक वही दर्शाता है. इज वेरी सिंपल गाय, डाउन टू अर्थ है.
Hmm.
उसको कोई एयर नहीं है कि इतना क्रिकेट खेला है,
Yeah.
एक लेजेंड है गेम का.
Yeah.
पर वो उसके उसके बातचीत में कभी नहीं आएगा. उसके
Hmm.
जिस तरह से आपसे वो ग्राउंड पे बिहेव करता है, प्लेयर के साथ बिहेव करता है, वो कभी नहीं लगेगा. अगर वो
Hmm.
प्लेयर जैसे यशस्वी जायसवाल टीम में नया आता है या बिश्नोई नया आया, वो ऐसे ही
Hmm.
है उसके साथ, और आप विराट के साथ भी वैसे ही है. सो वो बंदे
Hmm.
के बारे में ये वैसा है, बहुत सिंपल है. और आई एम नॉट टू सरप्राइज जैसे उन्होंने जैसे बोला कि मैं इट्स
हाँ,
ग्रेट। आई थिंक आप
it's
एक
great.
छूट हम बोलते हैं कि अरे नहीं ऐसा क्या ठीक है, पर आप जिस तरह से एक तो वो सोचना, एक सोच आना खुद
Yeah.
के बारे में कि वो भी बड़ी बात है, पर स्पेशली एक अमाउंट जैसे जो आप बात कर रहे हो, वो
हाँ,
वो अमाउंट भी बहुत ऐसी छोटी नहीं है कि वो छोड़ सकते हैं,
छोटा
तो
नहीं
वो
है.
दर्शाता है इंडिविजुअल के बारे में दर्शाता है, और क्या आप बोल
True.
सकते हो उसके बारे में। या
True, true. Okay, sir. It would be wrong to float names right now, but whosoever
या
takes the baton in the bowling coach department, one
या
piece of advice from you to whosoever takes that responsibility.
in the larger picture,
Yeah.
the team also. So I think yeah,
Mm.
that would be my that's what I did. Try especially I tried to do it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lastly, would you be interested in taking up a role in any of the IPL franchises or any IPL franchise you would love to join?
I would right now. I say I've been on the road for last 2 decades, more than 2 decades. Just being into
Yeah.
farmer, being out of the house, doing Ranji trophies around travel. And I've been out of the house. So right
Yeah.
now, just currently, just want to be home, spend time with my family. My son
Mm.
is the teenager now. Spend a little more time with him. He's got into cricket a little bit, so
Okay.
that's another headache in at home. My wife says, "यार एक हुआ दूसरा आया." Where's kind of thing going on? So just want to spend time with them at home and especially son and us.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will see me. कहीं ना कहीं आप देखोगे IPL. I've
Mm.
not decided on any of the franchise कोई भी.
Yeah.
But yeah, the discussion going on. कहीं ना कहीं you'll see because I want to be involved. I like being involved on the ground. And तो
Yeah.
कहीं ना कहीं you'll see me on the ground. I think I enjoy
Mm.
that. IPL franchise cricketers. I've been part of a franchise. I've been part of MI for a
Mm.
long time, so I've been part of it.
Yeah.
So it's a different challenge altogether. And definitely want to experience that again. So you will see me, but nothing formalized yet. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Your son is a bowler or a batter or an all-rounder?
I'm trying to make him prepare and get him into all rounder. I said don't get batter
Okay.
ball. Be a all rounder. It's an expensive commodity.
Okay. Fast bowling all-rounder or what?
Fast bowling all rounder. Spinner all rounder नहीं, fast
Nice.
bowling all rounder. I said boss, you're gonna be all rounder होना है. पिताजी ने बहुत मार खाया तो कोई तो चाहिए ना फैमिली में मारने के लिए दूसरों को बॉलर से.
True.
So I
True.
said yeah,
True.
वैसा है
Yeah.
यार.
Yeah, but it was great talking to you, sir. It has been lovely watching your team perform that ways. I just feel कि कोई टीम अगर सेमीफाइनल फाइनल्स पहुंच रही है तो वो उतना ही अच्छा कर रही है जितना एक जीतने वाली टीम ने किया है. This has been my personal opinion for any of the teams. So the
Right.
Indian team has done really well under you, under Rahul sir, under Vikram sir. We just hope the baton goes on.